Right now we're in Tracy Arm Fjord, which I think is one of the most scenic fjords in the world, comparable to anything that I've seen along the coast of Norway. It's about 25 miles long, and there are 5,000-foot rims around and 14 or 1,500 feet below the water. So this is a really spectacular place. What Tracy Arm has that most of the Norwegian fjords don't have is two glaciers at the end, which are actively calving. And no doubt there's a big potential that we'll see some of these calves later on in the day. Okay, so what happens with these tidewater glaciers is that ice is constantly pushing down from above a few feet per day, and gradually the pressure builds up on the front face of the ice, and it begins to break off and fall into the water, and that's what we call calving. South Sawyer is about 250 feet high at its front face and extends back 14 miles to the Stikine ice field. This is actually imported Canadian ice that we're seeing here. Well, what we saw is something that is about as big as any calving gets. We had the whole front face of the glacier fall into the water, creating a splash that was at least 200 to 250 feet high, and a surge wave that was 20 to 30 feet high, and ballistic blocks of ice spraying out in front. So that was pretty exciting for all of us in the Zodiacs.
Oh, look at that whole piece. Oh, the whole piece is going. Look at that.
By far, that's the most spectacular calving that I've seen in 16 years of traveling up here in Tracy Arm.
Now that's the real deal.
That's really big.
That's really, really big. Get going, get going.
That's as big as it gets.
Might want to turn into it, actually.
All right.
An experience that we just can't describe, especially since, like, I don't know how much of the glacier just calved. We turn around and there's the wave coming at us, and it makes you appreciate being part of the earth and how small we are to how big and beautiful the world and earth is.
Looked like the harbor seals may have had a premonition of the big calving that we saw, because they had hauled out on the icebergs before the calving started, and they stayed there all the way through the whole event.
Well, here we are at South Sawyer Glacier. It's an incredible day. We've seen some phenomenal pieces of glacier fall off, and it's been a real experience. Kind of culminates the end of an incredible week here aboard the National Geographic Sea Lion. And what can you say about such an incredible experience of Southeast Alaska? I think everybody has really just enjoyed every aspect of this place, from the bears to the eagles to the whales, the stellar sea lions. It's been absolutely phenomenal. So we go home, reinvigorated, reminded of how special this place is that we live in, and I think re-inspired to engage in all the conservation that we can to make sure places like this continue to exist around the world.